I'm your host, Harry Jordan. Welcome to Meat TV.
Meat TV is on the air. I wonder what they'll talk about today. Beef and pork and poultry there. We can learn a lot along the way. From homestyle all the way to gourmet. We'll have a little fun along the way.
Hey folks, welcome back to day 2 of Meat TV's Mighty Meat Special. Like I said, day 2. That means that today we're doing the marinated portion of the show. Very exciting. Delicioso promises it to be an amazing conclusion, if you will, to a fierce battle between the meats. Anyway, folks, without any further ado, we're off to Delicioso and see what he's got cooking in the kitchen. We'll meet you there in the kitchen. Hey, everybody, that's right, it's Delicioso. He's here today. Now we're gonna, you know what? The meat has been marinating. It's all more delicious today than yesterday. It's a wonderful. Okay, so right away, we're gonna open. We're gonna take a look and see what we got to cook in here, eh? Oh, look at this. This is a nice piece of mystery meat. This is it, folks. This is what we've been waiting for. After the show, I'm gonna tell you what this mystery meat is, okay? But we're gonna put the mystery meat on the grill. Today I'm gonna use a grill because I don't want the different flavors of the marinades to bump into one another. Who knows what will happen then, eh? We'll have strange kids walking around here or something. Okay, now what we have here now, oh, this is that lovely flank steak, no? Yes, it is. There we go, we put on the grill. We get it a sizzling. We're gonna take the ribeye. We're gonna put that on the grill. Look at that, all the Montreal steak spice there. This beautiful thing, huh? So, oh, it smells so delicious already. We can smell it a-cooking. Yeah, who used to say that on the TV, you know? There was somebody used to say that all the time, eh? Now, this one here, now, I know this recipe. I know what you're thinking. You know what? The Delicioso, it works better with the pork. Yes, it does, but it's a good marinade for the beef, too. But it does taste better with the pork. And this looks like a little bit of a Coke. We'll put a Coke on there like that, and we're going to see what that does for it. I was hoping the cameraman remembers yesterday so he can give us a real honest opinion about today. Here we are with a little bit of balsamic with the inside around. There we go. There we go. We got it cooking now, folks. We're just going to turn it up a little bit more. It's good to have a nice heat. Okay, now we're just going to wait a couple of minutes for this to cook, and then we're going to do the big flip. Okay, give me a couple of minutes. I'll be back. Okay, without any further ado, we're going to go down to the Beyond the Plate. Should be Beyond the Dudgeon. You ever been down there? It's like, wow. Anyway, folks, keep it positive. Let's go down and visit Steakman Freud and Beyond the Plate. Welcome to Beyond the Plate with me, your host, Steakman Freud. I know what you're thinking. I missed the whole introduction, but it's just been so exciting around here with everything that's going on. We have Delicioso preparing, and then questions. How were those steaks? Were they tender? Were they juicy? Were they succulent? Who was the big winner yesterday in the steak-off of Mighty Meats? Yes, Mighty Meats is back today for the second day. Oh, today we are doing the marinated portions. And I want to get this right. So I have written it down here so I know what was going on. Okay, so he took the inside portion of the round and he marinated that in a cola. A cola. Think about that, folks. Cola. I remember when I was in school, we took a tooth and we dropped it in the cola. It was there for about a week and it started developing holes. So we know that it's a very strong acid. We took the sirloin tip and we did that in a sun-dried tomato and oregano salad dressing. And the reason he chose a salad dressing was because it had the vinegar already in it. And it had some flavors that develop over time as it sits in that bottle on the shelf and marinates. Oh, very exciting. The cap of the sirloin. Now, we've reasoned that perhaps it doesn't need a lot of help to make it tender. So we went Montreal steak spice, garlic, and a little bit of balsamic vinegar. Ah, yes. And we're going to get into more of that in just a second. The flank steak. Balsamic vinegar with Italian seasonings. So we'd have a little rosemary, a little sage, a little oregano. And a little bit more tender, perhaps. We'll find out. The ribeye, Montreal steak spice only. I know how Delicioso loves the Montreal steak spice. That's all it needs, he says. That's all it needs. Then we had the mystery steak. And again, it was done with the Montreal steak spice only. What does he know that we don't know? I think my suspicions were correct in where it came from. He also put a sprinkle of garlic on it. So, let's get into people sometimes, they wash their meat. There is absolutely no need to wash your meat. You don't need to wash your meat. It doesn't do anything except spread the germs around. Even if you're using salt water, perhaps lemon, perhaps you're using the vinegar wash, does nothing to kill the germs. It simply moves them around. And that's the last thing you want. The cola. Let's touch on the cola for a minute. The acidity content, the pH, if you will, is 2.7% in cola. A lemon, which we know is very acidic as well, is only 2.0 pH. This is all very interesting. But vinegar, what does vinegar or balsamic vinegar, what does it have? It has between 2 and 3 as a pH level. So, vinegar, cola, very similar. You're simply doing this for flavor. Perhaps a can of cola is cheaper for you today than a bottle of balsamic vinegar. You have to wonder. Perhaps not everybody can afford such luxuries as balsamic vinegar. Even to say balsamic vinegar is exciting, isn't it? It is. Do you know that if you boil down your balsamic vinegar, you can make cream of balsamic? It's delicious on ice cream. Thought I'd share that little tidbit with you. Anyway, this has been Steakman Freud on Beyond the Plate. And enjoy the rest of your mighty meats. Okay, folks, we back. I won the last time here on Meet You in the Kitchen with the Delicioso, eh? And we're gonna now turn this down, and we're gonna taste, okay? Let's take this meat. Let's see, what are we gonna start with? Yesterday we started with a flank. We're gonna start with a flank again, eh? We're gonna take it, and we're gonna cut it. Now we cut on a bit of an angle. There's still some pink in there. That's a beautiful thing. That's what we want. We want to see the pink. Here, Mr. Cameraman, please come and try again.
That was the
That was a flank of steak. What do you think of today?
dressing. That was the salad.
Okay, the flavor of the dressing. What do you think? What do you score you going to give it? with the flavor of the dressing?
The dressing,
The marinade.
yeah, maybe a 3. Not a big fan.
3 on a flank steak. And what about tender?
About a 5.
About a 5, okay. Yesterday was a 6. It actually got worse for him. Okay, this is not a good. Now over here, we have a piece of the round of steak, eh? Okay, now we take the round of steak and we're going to cut it. There you go, like that. And we try this one now, okay? What do you think of that?
7?
You give it a flank of steak a 7. Okay, let's see. Or the round of steak, sorry. And what about the flavor?
4.5.
A 4.5 on the flavor scale, okay. Now over that, I give it about a 6, you know. Okay, now here we have the cap. Okay, nice little pink in the middle there. And let's see how that one is going to fare. What do you think? Has it got a nicer flavor?
Mm-hmm.
What do you give it a flavor?
8.
8, and there's no marinade in that. It's just a flavor, the Montreal steak spice, and a bit of the garlic, eh?
Oh.
Okay, I give that about a 7.
And then
All right, now,
Tenderness? Did we do the tenderness?
oh yeah, what do you think about the tenderness? What do you give it that? What do you give it?
7.5.
A 7.5 on the tender scale, okay. And that was, okay, now we're getting someplace, eh? So this one here, this is a sirloin tip.
Very tender. I give that a 9 for tenderness.
A 9 for tenderness, very good. Whoops. And what about the flavor?
7.5.
Okay. Okay, we got a couple more to go. We have the mystery meat here now. After you taste it, I'm going to tell you what you've been eating there. I know you're very excited to find out. There you go. There I go. How was that, a piece of mystery meat, eh? You know, I wish that you could see his face because he's like, oh, wow.
That's a 10.
It's like I'm eating delicioso for the first time, you know? You get a big wow.
10 for tenderness.
A 10, okay, 10 for tenderness. What about flavor? Now, you have to remember that all we did was a little bit of garlic and Montreal steak spice, eh?
10.
A 10 on the,
10 out of
oh
10.
my goodness.
Yeah, that's my.
It gets a perfect score. Okay, now, we're going to try this one. Now, as you know, this is a ribeye. Okay. Please get ready for a flavor explosion, okay? Okay, let's see how you feel with this one. A little bit of Montreal steak spice only.
9.5
A 9.5.
for flavor. And 9.5 for tenderness. The other one was more tender.
Folks, so there we have it. The results are in. Now, the mystery meat, what was it? Are we ready for the bigger reveal? You know how I always say between the blade and the rib is always that transition piece, and that is exactly what that meat was. The piece between, it's a part of the rib, part of the blade. The blade has a lot of flavor. It's delicious. Okay, folks, we got the scores here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what Dan gave it, what Delicio gave it, the combined total, and what it was marinated in. Okay? So here we go. Coming in number 6 was the round steak. Dan scored it with a 12. Delicioso scored it with a 10 for a combined score of 22. Remember, that was marinated in the Coke. And also, I want you to know that it had the second highest increase in tenderness after it was marinated. Coming in at number 5 was the flank. Dan scored it at an 11, and Delicioso scored it at a 12 for a combined score of 23. Now, just to remind you what that was marinated in was the balsamic, the Italian steak spice, and the garlic. So coming in at number 4 was the cap steak. Dan scored it at a 15. Delicioso scored it at a 14.5. So you can see, too, that these scores, they're very close to one another. They're not that far off. The cap steak had balsamic vinegar, the garlic, and the Montreal steak spice. Coming in at number 3 was the tip steak. Dan scored it at a 14.5. Delicioso scored it at a 13.5 for a combined score of 28. Now, that was marinated in the sun-dried tomato and oregano salad dressing. That had the highest increase in tenderness from one day to the next after marinating. So if you're scoring for that category, that one by far won it, and the round steak came in after that. Okay, so number 3 was the tip. Number 2, that honor goes to the blade rib. Now, Dan scored it at an 18. Delicioso scored it at a 19.5 for a combined score of an amazing 37.5. Now, that wasn't marinated in anything except some Montreal steak spice for a little bit of flavor and some garlic. So nothing to make it more tender. And, I mean, it finished almost 10 points higher than the next closest steak to it, which was the cap. Now, coming in at number 1 was the ribeye. Dan scored it at a 19, and Delicioso scored it at a perfect 20, and for a combined score of 39 out of a possible 40 points. And again, the only thing that was marinated in, and again, just for flavor, was Montreal steak spice. So, did this help you? Did Mighty Meats fulfill all your dreams to know what steak is the most tender? What marinated is the best? We certainly hope so. I know it opened my eyes to a lot of new information. And that steakman, you can't get over him. Anyway, until next time, make sure you fill in the comment section, questions, answers. You might have an answer, who knows. Got questions, comments? Fill it in, folks. Tell us what you're thinking, what you're feeling, how you're enjoying the show. This has been Harry Jordan. Take care. Happy cooking. Until next time on Meat TV. Good night, folks.